Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video of my web series of Addison's disease. And this video is about teen years and Addison's. If you watched the previous one, puberty and Addison's, this is basically kind of a continuation of it, talking a little bit more of social aspect of the teen years and Addison's. First off, I will say I was homeschooled, so a couple things here that I'm going to talk about I really can't give a lot of advice about or help you with. I'm very sorry. You're just going to have to play it as you go. If you have a young kid that has Addison's, I don't know how the school system will do about school trips, because if the kid goes on a school trip, they're going to have somebody with them who knows how to administer a shot and what the disease is and to understand how to handle it. And I don't know how the school system will do about possibly if your child can't handle doing gym as well as the full school day. I don't know how well they'll understand. I would say talk to your doctor about possibly getting a doctor's note explaining the fact that it's hard for him or her to complete a full school day on top of doing gym, and maybe something she's not going to be able to do at all for the rest of her school years because of it. Homeschooling is definitely something to look into because of the fact that it can keep your kid from being exposed to so many colds and flus. It can help with bullying possibilities. It can help with making it so that she can still get an education and not be as hard on her body to go for so many hours and do so much with it. So really, I don't know how the school system would handle the shot kid either. I assume it'd have to sit in the nurse's office or something, but then the nurse would have to know how to do it and what to look out for, stuff like that. So I really can't help you there, but I will touch and talk about it and just say that's something you're probably going to have to talk to your doctor about, and just really trial and error truly there. Teen years and Addison's can be a very fulfilling and very good, but you need a very good support system and a very good family structure to have a very eventful and fulfilling teen years. My friends and family took a crap on me, and it's my family shouldn't have done what they've done. I pretty much got the disease, and they all went, "Oh, too much for us," and walked away. So I don't have a family support system whatsoever. My mother, father, brother are all I have. Grandparents, aunts, and uncles really could give two craps less about it. They just feel like it's too much for them. They're too busy. Who cares? So really, I don't talk to a lot of my family because of that and other issues. So in friends, I've had friends who don't understand and don't want to get it, and I've had friends who do understand and get it. But really, you can have a fulfilling and good, happy, eventful teen years if you have a good support system. I did not, and it makes it very lonely, and it makes it very, very hard to go through. You can fall into depression, you can become suicidal. I got used to the loneliness because I love music, I love to sing, I love writing songs, that's my outlet. I love taking pictures. I read a lot of magazines and books to fill my time up, and really I got used to the loneliness, and it's not easy, but find an outlet. If you do think you're becoming depressed or suicidal, definitely talk to somebody that you can, counselors. But I will say I understand 100% that when you go to try to talk to somebody, they don't understand truly Addison's, and they don't understand how hard it can be. Now, if you are a parent with a child with Addison's disease, it can be hard to watch them go through it, and it can be hard being a teen dealing with it, because teenage minds aren't mature enough to wrap around the severity of this disease and the problems that it will occur. Something I had a problem with is a lot of my friends didn't want to understand the fact that I couldn't go and pound the pavement and run the streets and, abuse my body and not eat and live off soda and just do all this kind of stuff and eat all, they didn't understand that I couldn't abuse myself like that, and I couldn't run the streets and do these things and be out until midnight, or even in your college years being older. If they don't understand that you can't be up until midnight and get up at you can't be up till 3 in the morning and get up at 6 because you're so exhausted, and then you become adrenal fatigued, and then you can't live a very fulfilling life when you are awake because you are so sick. And a lot of people don't want to get slowed down with you. They don't want to understand, they don't want to get it, and it's even harder in teen years because teenagers don't want to be slowed down. They don't want to understand it. They think they're invincible. They just want to go out and live, pound the pavement, do whatever they want, and you can get left behind. And that's very hard being a teenager to go through, and that's very hard being a parent with a teenager going through that, so you need to be very sympathetic, have a means of open conversation with your teenager, or if you're a teen and you have a family member, maybe you feel you can talk to your grandma, your uncle, your aunt, your anybody, brothers, sisters. You know, if you're a parent and your one child gets Addison's and the others are, you know, healthy or don't have it, definitely tell them, you know, be there for your sibling. If they need to come and talk to you, talk to them. You don't have to report back to me. You know, don't be a nosy parent. Let them come to you. But if you do notice something, open that line of communication, because it is very, very golden. Now, don't let your child say that they have the shot kit on them, because one thing that you do have to be very careful with it is steroids, and you do have the syringe, and it is just basically right there begging to be stolen or shot up. So you definitely want to tell your teenager, don't tell anybody if they don't need to know it's there. Just walk around and just deal with it, you know. It can be really hard in your teen years because doctors will tell you don't trust anyone under the age of 16, some people even 18, because they just don't mature well, to learn how to give the shot kit, you know, learn how to do the shot for the Addison's person, because a lot of kids younger aren't mature enough to understand, to deal with the situation in a panic. So it can become harder if your teen wants to date or go out places with friends, because you need to make sure that wherever they go, somebody knows how to give them their shot. And I'm talking like young teen years. I'm talking between like 12 and 16 years old. There's going to have to be a lot of chaperoning going on, because the teen's too young to understand and their friends are way too young to understand. But there are alternatives. Like, let's say you got sisters. The younger sister has the Addison's, the older one doesn't. The older one learns how to do the shot kit, and they go to the mall together. And they don't have to be in the same store together in the mall. Now, if it's a two-story mall, I would suggest they stay on the same floor. But if something happens, she can call her up. She can come to that spot in the mall, give her the shot, help take care of her. And that's something my parents did with me growing up, because you can't suffocate your child. Your child does need to live. Your child does need to learn to be confident in themselves and know when they need the shot or when they need help. So, you know, when it comes to driving, my doctor said, let her drive. Don't be afraid to let your child drive at all. I got my permit at 16, license at 18 for the fact that I didn't feel like paying for driver's ed and stuff. But I drove. You know, I learned how to do my shots officially at the age of 16 years old. I think that's a good age. And pretty much I drove, and I drive alone all the time. I do not suggest your teen gets in a car with anyone under the age of 18 as the driver, because of the fact that it's just not safe. To me, it's kind of dangerous, but that's more along the lines of your parenting style. Dating under the age of 16 really, to me, shouldn't happen, but that's your parenting style. But chaperone dates until she's old enough to learn how to do her own shot. Pretty much, the teen needs to be chaperoned through everything until they are old enough to know how to give themselves their shots. And then once they are old enough, and their friends are older, and, you know, maybe one friend's a little more mature, could possibly learn it, but just be definitely very careful who you let know having, you know, how's the best way to say it? Be careful who you tell that you have the shot kit for safety reasons. What else? Basically, it can just be hard dating too, because boys will get scared away from it because they don't understand it. Pretty much the hardest part of teen years in Addison's is teens don't want to be slowed down with the complications of it. I will say that it might be smart if you're child or you as a teen maybe friends up somebody who has diabetes or other health issues, and I'm not saying be friends with them just because they got health problems. That's wrong and that's rude. But I'm saying maybe lean towards people like that, because that's what I'm doing in my older age. Lean towards people who have health problems because they can empathize with you, they can understand, and definitely people with diabetes, and especially kids who are diabetic and need insulin in their teen years or are hypoglycemic and need to keep, need to monitor when they do and don't eat. It's definitely really good because they'll understand the need to take care of themselves, to stop, check the blood sugar, get the insulin, get something to eat, and they'll understand that you just can't run around and pound the pavement, and it can be a little more respectful to being sympathetic and understanding of having a health condition. And pretty much it really sucks going through the teen years with Addison's. It can be very lonely. That's why I say find a vice of some sort. Drugs and alcohol, young with Addison's, you're going to know if your kid starts it because your body's going to completely reject any heroin, cocaine, marijuana. Now marijuana is different, so you'd have to be a little careful if your teen does do pot because it could probably not be as noticeable with the Addison's. But definitely the body's going to reject cocaine, heroin, ecstasy, anything like that. You're going to know if your child's on it. She won't be able to hide it. She'll get sick immediately because the body can't handle that like other people's. Alcohol, pretty much that can get hidden a little more, but you have to drink such a little amount that you're not going to want to drink because you're not going to get really drunk. Because alcohol poisoning can kill your child. Very simple, very easily, and it is something I have to watch out for being an adult because I have to limit how much I drink a lot more compared to other people. But pretty much teen years in Addison's, I can't say it enough, sucks. It's very lonely, and the fact that there's not many support groups, I will get into that more in the support group video. The fact that there's not many support groups, the fact that I don't know anybody else who has it. Honestly, I don't know anyone else who has it. I guarantee I can look up in our high school and junior high and grade school records right now and guarantee you that none of those kids in my town have Addison's disease. I guarantee you. It's very rare, and that makes it very hard. It's awkward enough, and it makes it even more awkward having a disease. So really just, you can have a fulfilling great teen years. You just gotta hope to God you find a good support group, good friends. Think of alternative ways for your child to do stuff, and pretty much with age it gets better because you can go out and do things more independently without having to worry about somebody knowing how to give you a shot. So pretty much that's all I can really talk about and say with teen years and Addison's. If you're just feeling lonely, or if you are having trouble, definitely reach out to somebody and just let them know. Don't take your life because of it. It's a very hard disease and it does progress. I know I went through my teen years completely with it. It sucks, but definitely just reach out to somebody if you feel you need the help. So, like I said, I'm not going to be all Miss Pollyanna positive. It is very lonely, it's very hard, and people suck. They're very immature, very stupid, and don't want to get things. But if you definitely just find a good support group, all the better. I went through my teen years without an ounce of support, and it's very hard, but you can make it. Just, like I said, find your vice, find ways to distract yourself, and just try to get through it. It sucks, it's not the most positive thing to say, but it's really just the truth. So, I will see you in my next video, which is relationships and Addison's, and that's talking about a more adult perspective and issues in dealing with it. So pretty much, thank you for watching and see you in the next video.